Hi, Idrisi here once again. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you are doing well, and I pray that your life will be changed and be blessed after listening to this short message on personal development. Now, today I'll be speaking about Africa, and I'll be saying that Africa do it the Babylonian way. I'll be speaking about how Africa can develop. And for Africa to develop, Africa needs to develop its youth. Africa needs to encourage its youth to grow businesses and to create wealth. We cannot be taking loans and grants from the West. It will come to a point that that money will not come again. And even if it comes, it is not serving our interests. So African youth, we need to create this wealth. How do they create it? Why have they not created it? And I want to look at it from this way. The wealth of a country is dependent on the individual wealth of citizens. So if you want a country to create or to become rich, let the citizens of the country become rich. Let the citizens of the country to become rich. And this is what we call capitalism. That is what USA have practiced. Most Western world practices capitalism. Capitalism in its own words, or in it, if it's mentioned like this, kind of has some connotation that people don't want to hear. It's like, oh, it's a business where oriented where the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. It's not true. Listen, if a country needs to get rich, the country needs to encourage citizens to grow financially. And what the country will have to provide for the people is that mental resource that the people need to grow this financial um, aspects of their lives. The mental resource, education, formal education, yes, very good. But listen, it's not only the formal education that will create wealth for a country. After the Second World War, the USA president and government leadership at that time realized that they need to energize the citizens. They need to encourage and motivate the citizens to go into business and to work hard and to be able to build financial strength for the country. So they employed motivational speakers, business consultants, people who can psych the people up mentally to work hard and make money. Listen, Africa do not need to be putting money into the hands of their citizens physically. Africa needs to give the citizens the mental capability, the resources that they need to develop their mind, to orientate their mind towards money making. That is what Africa needs. To create wealth is not about how many bags of gold has been given to you. Africa has loads of gold, loads of oil, loads of diamond, loads of cocoa, but Africa is still poor because these resources alone cannot make you rich. The richness of every human being is in the mind, the mental capability, the mental setup, the mental orientation. Listen, we should not overemphasize on formal education, the sciences, the maths, the English. These things do not create wealth. What creates wealth is the knowledge that is what? Creative. That is what we should be focusing on. So African leaders should not only be teaching English, maths, and science and be spending into education that only teach English, maths, and science, but they should also be interested in getting inspirational, motivational speakers, life coaches, business consultants to organize fora, to organize conferences, to organize educational programs for African youth. Prepare their mind. Then, if you put a little seed money in their hands, they will multiply it. That is what Africa needs. So, when we criticize some African policies, people don't get it because we know it's going to fail. Something like the Youth Start program that is going to happen in Ghana, the likelihood of most of it failing is very clear because the mind needs to be prepared to be business focused, to be talent oriented before you give them resources. So, as I said, The financial strength of a nation is dependent on this individual citizens' financial strength. Again, the second point I want to look at is the individual's ability to create wealth is not based on the number of bags of gold or money that is given to them, but the mental resource that they have. And then let's give the youth the confidence to believe in themselves. You see, what these educational programs and motivational programs and consulting, what it does is that it creates the intrinsic motivation of the citizens, the youth, to believe in themselves. That is one thing you need to get people to work and succeed. Believe in themselves. That is what we should work on. That is what we should be working on. Listen, we can create the wealth, but until we draw out the inner potentials, capabilities, and abilities of the African youth, we cannot break the cycle of poverty in Africa. Getting rich is a science, and Africa must teach that science with all it can master, all its force, all its resources it can master. Africa must teach the science of getting rich. That is what we need. We shouldn't be going handing over pennies and pieces of money and things to people. We should teach them the way of making wealth, the way of creating wealth. Set up business fora, set up conferences. Let the people be educated on money making strategies. Come on, employ the Matthew Ashimolos, take the Mensa Otabels, get them to work and change the mindset of the African youth before you put money in their hands, before you give them resources. Then they will perform miracles. God richly bless you. Thank you.